Yo, what's up? This is a message for mainly the Arcane Lineage dev team. Well, first off, start off with greetings. I was raised right. Me. How you guys doing, right? So, I have a couple of ideas brought together by the community. So of course I have some ideas too. Your game has unlimited potential. It is maybe the only one of its category in its caliber. That's why you still have so many players, honestly, with the lack of content, mainly just bug patches. Now, I don't expect a dev team to, I don't expect you to drop Tundra in like a week, make a little winter wonderland real quick. I don't expect Tundra dropped like that quickly, right? Tundra, realistically, is not getting dropped I'm hopeful for December. It's probably going to take a while. You guys are writing super classes and everything else. It's going to take a while, right? I'm not here to talk about Tundra. I'm here to talk about some small things you could do to make your game like go from 50% to 100%. And everybody knows 100 is better than 50, all right? So first off, these are some ideas this is my idea here, but expand upon subclasses, right? The only issue with your game is that once you play for so long, which all these players do, lots of players don't have a lot of lives, is there's no build variety. You have gone every build, you have maxed out every mark tier 5 peasant. If you made like 4 subclasses, which I'm not saying anything, I like your subclasses, but you could probably make a subclass and maybe, and this is taking forever, like intricate every detail, make the best looking subclass ever, a subclass a week, It's not hard to make subclasses. I'm not personally a scripter. I know scripters. I've seen it in action. It's not that hard to make something, like 3-4 subclasses would make the game so much more replayable. So much more replayable. And that's what you guys probably want, because a game like this, again, it's not you guys' fault. It's a turn-based game. It's not like Deep Oak and you can't have that end game. It's a turn-based game, right? So make more subclasses. Some ideas to this subclass. Some guy said priest, right? Priest. And priest has a move. Let me read what he put here. Yep, here it is. Where is it? Let me read. Passive 1, increased resistance to DOT. Passive 2, immune to either curse or hex is what he was thinking. And skill 1, give an ally a mark of some sort, giving them a portion of the healing done when you heal someone else. Or you could potentially, make it so that, the Seraphon effect, the purified, you can make it so that the boss has that and that the healing gets redirected to your team. I don't know. That'd be a good one. It wouldn't even just potentially be, it could potentially be for builds other than just support builds too, More subclasses. You can make merchant. And this is just me spouting nonsense. I'll just make one more example. And this is me just off the top of my head. You could pull up a shop where you can buy medium merchant. You can like set up a shop where you can buy medium healing potions and stuff, which would save so much time. I mean, people grind for Venia. I don't see why they wouldn't grind for this, You get yourself a little shop, So you can buy medium healing potions, and we'll say there's one randomly rotating item, right? That's your little shop, little merchant shop. And there's like rotating items. A passive could be every time you hit an enemy, there's a chance to give you a little bit of gold, just a little Midas thing. And there could be enemies have a 50% chance to drop one extra item. So farming builds would want it. And honestly, some builds beyond farming builds would want it. Like if you are a crazy boss farming build, you want medium healings, maybe it sells small energies, for a lot of money. It would be a very helpful mark. Maybe a little busted. You might have to tone it down a bit. That's a lot of drops, That'd be a lot better for farming, but there's duping and stuff, so you can't get too picky. Now, beyond subclasses, my Discord also had a couple of other ideas, right? Make ice weapons always obtainable from Tundra. That's just me spouting. Tundra's not out yet. Maybe that was you guys' idea all along. If so, you're geniuses, you know. Let me read some more of these. Lots of gears. Forgotten classes. One of your coolest classes. Elementalist. I think that's how you spell it. I don't know. Don't judge me. I'm not a genius. Elementalist is so forgotten. More gears. More gears are required for Elementalist, right? Elementalist needs so many more gears, right? Like, it's lacking so hard in gears. It's a terrible class. Maybe buff it a bit, but the gears need buffs for sure. Another idea was add mastery trees to subclasses, where if you use a move enough, you master it. Like for Dangerous Mixture, it puts one more DOT effect on. For that tier minor, it gives a 5% buff to a random stat. For Beastmaster, I don't know, your mark does a little AoE damage or something. I don't know, your mark gives golem death. Yeah. More boss drops, which I know it's a stupid idea, but they're saying a lot more gear, which I feel like boss drop gear would make it a lot more. You gotta grind this boss and this boss to get the gear. Gear that lets you summon a Cessor was one of the ideas. And this was a good idea. I thought that you could add it to Beastmaster. Make a logbook like Hollow Knight that once you kill a specific amount of enemies, depends on difficulty. For example, 25 slimes, but like 5 or 10 for Sentient Darkness. That let you see what they drop. Their HP scaling with more players / corruption HP, you know. I feel like that's lovely. I feel like that's a great idea. It makes Beastmaster worth going, which it's only worth going if you're going a farming build right now, you know. And there was another one for Beastmaster. Maybe a Beastmaster passive that gives you a map. So it said that lets you see areas where mobs spawn / safe zones. So a better map. There was a lot of good ideas. This was the best one yet. I gotta get my drawing skills out for this one. I'm trying to draw a Shade Blade here, right? This is my take on Shade Blade. Hope you like it. Let's fill it in here real quick. Yeah, that's actually such a great Shade Blade. I can't get dissed from my art skills actually. That's a comp Shade Blade. This is your Shade Blade, right? He's just your average Shade Blade, right? Make it a drop from MV. That MV can drop an artifact, not a gear, an artifact that lets you summon Shade Blades that scale off Arcane / Strength. Make it so when the Shade Blade reaches 6 energy, you can wield it for 3 turns, doing increased damage on dark / physical attacks. Probably like 1.15 or 1.2 times damage, because it's pretty good. It's pretty good already, right? But I feel like that's such a cool, like that's cool. That is a cool idea. And that probably wouldn't be too hard to script either. Just put like a little dark, like aura over weapon. That's not that hard to make, I don't think. Again, not a scripter. I can't tell you. And damage up for you for like 3 turns, like a mini rage and power. Quality of life. Quality of life is terrible. I'll make a little void real quick. Spawn. My bad, my voice is failing me. You get your spawn here. Let me drink some water. You have your spawn here, right? The player to wipe has to run all the way from spawn all the way to that void. 3 to 4 times. They have to die. They have to run out, probably get in encounters, and die to avoid. A quick wipe feature, like Deep Woken, right? Where you can quickly wipe your slot, you know, just type your slot's name in to confirm, so there's like a CAPTCHA, you know, so you don't accidentally wipe. You know, another thing, so quick wipe is a really good feature. I feel like you added that to give some old players, you know, want to make them mad and then quit the game, you know. Small things like that. The starter experience. We'll draw a little freshie. This is our freshie here. He's in a little potato sack shirt. This is our freshie, right? He's in his potato sack shirt. He saw Arcane Lineage. And it looked like a fun little game, right? Little did he know. This will be the most miserable 2 minutes of his life. This is spawn. Alright, these are little spawn gates. Spawn gates. You walk out of Caldera to the green grass. Sorry, Arcane Lineage players, trigger word. You walk right outside. You're dead. You are dead. After you maybe kill a slime or two, you're dead. Once it gets to goblins and stuff, and now it is a hard game with little to no hand holding, I know, but you can make so when you spawn in, you know, there'll be a player, he'll spawn in, right? And you know, we know this, but new players don't. There's the old dude with the Days Quest, right? Sitting there, he has the Days Quest. Big red arrow. I think a infant could tell, you know, like, you gotta talk to this guy, he's important. And then you get Days, and then you get a move that can help you. And I think he tells you what to do. He's like, kill slimes and do this to progress. I think he actually does tell you what to do to progress, right? You know, that would make a lot more sense. And then make it so when you reach like level 15, it'll tell you can get, you know, it can tell you, okay. We'll start with once you get level 5. Right. I'm writing this in bold, by the way, so you guys can, you know, so we can keep up. Level 5. It explains your subclass. Explains sub. Dude, why is my mouse like tweaking? Alright. Jeez Louise, man. I'll tell you. Once you get level 5, a little UI pops up. You know, make it Raphion, the god of light. He's like, oh my god, you've become so strong, little warrior. I think you're ready to start learning, to start progressing in your journey. And then you're like, what does that mean? And then she's like, here, let me float you a little money there, player. Right? And she floats you money for your base class. Most players will pick Swordmaster, but like make a little UI flashing to all the different base classes, right? Like, so the player can, you know, memorize that and be like, oh, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. Let me go look at all of them. And then he picks a cool one. He has his moves. Now the game's starting to get cool. Once you hit your subclass, the game's starting to get cool. The moves still look pretty terrible, but you're like, okay, as I get moves, this is cool. Right? You see there's subclasses. No, not subclass, like base class on a base class. You know, and then you're probably like, oh, there's probably an ultra class, right? If they ever played Rogue or something. They're starting to understand, right? This would be great for new players. That would get new players. Like, you need to make it a little bit easier, or at least explain a little better. And then when they get level 15, right? No, oops. 15. Show. Oh, my handwriting is actually terrible. Show super class. This will get players hooked. You know, this is a little Raphion. We'll make a little Raphion here, guys. I'll try my darndest to make a little Raphion. Spam click here. Make it less opacity. Spam click here. Make it a lot less opacity. And right here. This is Raphion, right? And, you know, this is your little freshy player. What does Raphion want? Raphion slides you a band. You're like, Raphion, what are you doing, Raphion? Why are you giving me a band, you know? Raphion helps you get your super class. Does a whole dialogue. And this, I'm going along with the lore here. So like, there's no butts, cuts, coconuts. I'm going with the lore. Raffion is like, you're finally strong enough to become the warrior I envisioned. Take this, $750. Cuts to them showing where the super classes are. It takes like a minute for the cutscene. Only the first time they get level 5 and 15 does it show them the cutscene though. Okay? You know, and then they get a little feel for the game. And then maybe they get level 15, they try to get their superclass, they wipe trying to get there, right? But now you get them hooked. Now they're like, oh my god. So now maybe they look up a YouTube video and they'll see like, you know, somebody made a guide video on how to get this superclass. He's like, oh my god, these superclasses, they're so cool. Arcane lineage. He can see all the other races. What's this? He hands you money. This player, this guy right here, yes, this guy likes the game so much now. He is giving you. We'll make the mod real quick. Actually, wait. Nile's blue. Sorry, Nile. This is Nile. Nile likes money. I don't blame him. I love money, Nile. Nile, I love money, dude. I love money. I feel you. This guy is handing money to you because your game is slightly easier to play. Alright? I remember, like before the update, Arcane Lineage had like one new player a day, if even one. It was diabolical. Now that's all I can think of in a quick little yap session of how you can improve the game. There's so many more things. I know you're a big game. You can't look in suggestions all the time. Maybe hit up testers, CC, like anybody that plays the game a lot and be like, guys, what do you want to see? And then make a poll about it. Because, you know, maybe testers have their bias. I'm not saying anything. We all remember the Blade Dancer nerf. We all remember the Blade Dancer incident. Alright. So maybe make a poll about it. Be like, okay, the testers thought this. Let's see what the community thinks. And if the community agrees, it's a date, man. You got a good sauce going. That's all I can recommend. Just ask for the community more, because you got to keep in mind, you're not trying to make the game you want. You're trying to make the game the community wants. You know. That's all I can say. If a dev or mod watch this, that's kind of lit. I hope you liked some of the subclass ideas. I hope you took a little, you know, inspiration from this. If a tester watched this, I got one thing to say about testers. I got nothing to say. I don't really know you testers. But I do know one thing. Some of y'all, and I'm low-key just repeating what OK said, but some of y'all just want to be testers to get like early access. Like, I don't think some of you guys test the game, which is fine. It is a Roblox video game. You do not have to be obligated to it in the slightest. You don't have any obligation to it, but you shouldn't be a tester, and you shouldn't be talking as a tester if you don't play Arcane Lineage. You know, like, I feel like that's fair. That's not me being like a dick, right? That's just me saying, don't be a tester if you don't play the game, you know? We all remember the Blade Dancer nerf. That dude for sure never played Blade Dancer. He for sure never used Blessed, right? And just, you don't have to be a tester, you know? You go enjoy your life. Like, if you have a job, trigger word. If you have a job or something, just go work your job. Go live your life. You got a girlfriend? Good for you, bro. You don't have to be an Arcane Lineage tester. That's it, low-key. Because I feel like some of the hate on the devs and stuff is forced. The testers are making most of the decisions. Now, they listen to the testers a little too much faith in them, but they make most of the decisions, you know? So, lock in a bit. If you don't want to be a tester, don't be a tester. If you want to be a tester, I hope you provide for the future of this game well and make Tundra great. Have a great night or day.